And I'm just watching the video, I'm taking notes, but.
All right.
Like,
Let's see.
it just tells you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, just that orientation.
Hello, everybody. All right, we are, we are going to be
Yeah, you can stop by, yeah.
rolling in just a minute. We are still, Market Center, we're still kind of grabbing lunch and wrapping up. So we've got just 3 or 4 minutes before we get started here. So if you are at home and need to grab lunch or
I don't think we
run
met.
and do something really quick, go for it and we will get started here.
Hey Anna, you are on mute just in case it was accidental.
No, we're starting.
Okay.
Guys,
Okay.
nothing going on here. It's a heads up. Just people like milling around eating lunch. We're about to get started. All right, guys. Thanks for your patience as we're transitioning out of the team meeting. Dive in. In case if you need it. The link for the materials is on your screen. If you're in the room, you get a packet. Here we go. Okay. I mean, I printed the paper anyhow.
Yeah.
For Michael, when he comes in there we go, yep. So today we are going to talk about touch plans and events and systematic marketing, right? We're putting this together. How do we connect with people in a really systematic way that is both automatable and duplicable so that we don't have to be the one thinking the thought and doing the thing all the time. Before we do that, we're going to dive into our accountability and those 4 habits that we are looking at every single day. Oh, let's go through all the things really quick. Here we go. We have materials. Okay. Yesterday and Monday, we looked at MOFers and leveraging a powerful database. Yesterday, we tackled 0 to 17 listings, right? Leveraging our buyers to get listings. All right. Today, we are going to tackle touch plans and events on Friday. We won't have class tomorrow. On Friday, we're going to do agent to agent referrals. Next week, Monday, we start out the week talking about teleprospecting and open houses. So we're going to be looking at open houses and telephone prospecting and finishing out the week with door knocking and farming. And then the last week, the 4th week of the month, we are going to talk about social media, video, organic reach, internet leads, internet lead conversion. We're going to finish out 36-12-3 by talking about follow up and nurture, right? How we follow up with our leads, nurture them, convert them for future business. The 4 habits. Every day, we're going to know our numbers. I'm going to lead generate for 3 hours, track our numbers, and develop our skill So know our numbers every day. Let's take a look at the MLS today. Anybody looked yet? No one at home either. Alright, so we just have 11, 2. This is a Wednesday, which is great. We have a couple of other Wednesdays to compare it to. Let's look at some of the numbers. 1,253 new listings in the last 7 days. 512 coming soon. We're just keep going up. Back on the market, 209. Price increase. Price decrease. Pending. Withdrawn. I'm just going up too. I don't know if I'm surprised by that. If it goes up a lot, then that might be something interesting. Close, 15. Expire. How many are on? We changed it. It no longer shows the number here. And I was in there earlier and I'm like, what? What the what? Yeah, so you actually have to hit the search button to see the number.
Oh, and then it shows you at the
39
bottom.
or 7, yeah,
Where's the number then? At the top?
up top, yeah. 1 through 50 of 3907.
Oh.
He never had changed things, man. It literally just happened today. I thought it was me because I was searching differently. Here's how I was searching because I thought it was just to see. I talked about this a little bit in team meeting. I went down and I added an additional field for days in MLS. And I said 7+. And that number went to 2,700. 7+. And then I thought, okay, that's a lot. I wonder how many have been on 2 weeks. 14+. The search button. 2,000.
What time of day is the best time to look at this? Because I know it fluctuates.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
This is in the last 7
This
days.
is from the last 7 days.
Oh, okay.
So it really doesn't matter. You're gonna have kind of some peaks and valleys depending on which day of the week you're looking at it, but generally speaking, just so long as you're looking at it regularly, you're gonna be able to see trends, so it doesn't matter. That's all we're looking for is trends. Yeah, comparing it to what we've already seen, just to see if we see anything else. And then 21+ days. $1,594. Oh, I thought it was 2,000. $1,594. So
What's that?
21.
What's the price? What's the lowest price if you search by, yeah,
45 parking space event. Oh,
Oh.
Pueblo.
um,
Nope. A house in Pueblo, 640 square feet, 45 grand. Just in Pueblo, but all of these zeros with no square feet, those are parking spaces.
so, yeah. Nikki just showed me how to find the average days on market and then the average price of just in the same thing. And her and Ricky have been taking out deeded parking, new home.
Of those, yeah, the
those
outliers.
things, yeah.
They just do that. But even, we've been, I'm gonna take this out, we've been looking at the same numbers the whole time, right? So if you go to search, I don't know if this is how they do it, but, and you do stats, you can see.
She did,
Yeah.
stats at the top and then productivity under stats.
Well, for any particular search, you can just go to the stats. And you can pull that stuff up too. So if we wanted to look at things that per feet, 500 plus actual houses here, right? We wanted to pull out all of those parking spaces. Stats. That's gonna be a big outlier there. So. What are trends to take a look? What do we see? Few more homes on the market. Increasing listings, and increasing coming soon. I mean, tomorrow, Friday when we pull it again, those coming soon should go down to next to nothing. Right? And they should all be new listings. We should have a spike in new listings. Maybe. I don't know. I don't
Depends
know
on
what
where
to
they are in that 7 day, if they got 7 days. It just be, because you put it in coming soon doesn't mean that you're using all 7 days that you have.
Back on market, I think, some slight increases here, but nothing, we're about stable where we were this time last week. Going on. Price increase, price decrease, pretty steady. Pendings, a fewer homes going on the market, and so this is, the third day in a row we've seen that number decline. That's kind of interesting. Withdrawals, the increase in withdrawals is interesting too. I think it's kind of interesting in the same way that coming soons are interesting. Are these people who are just like, are they getting a little frustrated with what's going on and they're pulling off the market so that they can wait and see what's gonna happen?
Or maybe they're sellers today and buyers tomorrow, and they went, shoot, I can't find anything.
Maybe.
So they have to
They have to
pull
pause.
back to kind of regroup.
Maybe.
Or their rate, it depends on where they are in that cusp, like I could qualify yesterday and today I can't.
Yeah, so we've got to pull the house off the market. It can't sell now unless rates go back down.
Which then they may end up on the big list if they needed to sell. I had somebody who wanted, they are in a 5-bedroom house in Highlands Ranch. We don't need all this space. We just need a 3-bedroom. And I'm listening to all this and thinking to myself, you're going to make a lateral move, but have less house. I don't know why this is, well, let's pull the numbers. Let's see. Pulled them. Here's what you can do, I think. And somebody came in there and just flippantly gave them, you can get $900,000 for this house. And I was like, really? Maybe. But that's not what the numbers are showing. And here's where you're going to be buying. They came back from vacation and said, this isn't worth it. And I was like, okay.
That's what I was thinking too, but I needed them to see it.
They wanted to reduce their payment by $1,000. But they've got a 2-something rate, their mortgage, and they're gonna be going to a 5-something. They're
Yeah.
not reducing their rate. It's,
Right.
and they're fine. They're gonna, they don't have to. But it's kind of freaky to have that kind of conversation though. Cause you're sitting there, I need a listing.
Yeah.
But we're here to be a service.
Right. Yeah.
Is this what's right for
Is this
this
really the
client
right time for
today? I
yourself?
can
Yeah.
serve my client better
Mhm.
by saying, stay in your house, this is not the right time.
Right.
Let's see where this all sorts
Mhm.
out.
And I think we're going to be back there. I think it was Ryan who was mentioning, he was talking to Donna, I can't remember if it was in the room or not in the room. How, come like fall, we're gonna have this kind of figured out, right? And even if rates do stay a little bit higher for longer, we're gonna have solutions around that. It's gonna become the new norm. Prices are gonna stabilize to what the rates will allow. Like we kind of hit that ceiling.
Is- Sorry. I was thinking, and maybe I told you this. But the rates go up faster than the prices come down. So there's this place where it's like, I can't really buy, and then all of a sudden it goes
Yeah.
whoop and
And then
settles
it's fine
in.
again. Mhm.
I mean, that's all technical and stuff, but
Yeah, highly, I follow them. I mean, I don't always.
it's true.
I'm usually the bottom of the class, but that one I. No, so I'm gonna pull this up. I pulled it up the other day, but it illustrates something really, really powerful that's happening right now. And Gary mentioned it at family reunion in February, but then in April, I had the privilege of going to MAGA leadership camp, being in the room with him again, because we were talking about these very same slides. And so here's the one, it's coming up, mortgage rates, here we go. Okay. How and why mortgage rates and inflation play together, we get this, right? That as things get more expensive, that is something that's not great for the country. So the only way that they can really combat it and kind of put this regulator on the economy is with interest rates, right? When you want people to spend more money, you make money cheap so that people just spend more of it. When you want people to spend less money, and bring inflation down, you have to make money more expensive to get them to stop, right? And so it's just conditioning our behavior, that's all that's happening. But so he specifically points out this high point, see that 16.63 interest rate, that's in the 80s. And see how they raised it a little bit in the 70s, and then they had to raise it again, raised it again, and raised it again, and then they raised it and they stopped raising it. Here's how he thinks this happens, right? Y'all are spending too much money, inflation's getting out of control. We're gonna raise the rates a little bit. And then they kind of step back and say, did that do anything? And people are like, no, still spending money, buying homes, getting cars, going on vacation. Okay, let's raise it a little bit more. Still doing it. We don't like it very much, but we're still doing it. Let's raise it a little more. Gas is expensive, so we're not taking as many road trips, but we're still gonna buy that new house, right? They keep going until they hit a pain point where people stop, right? They hit that pain point at 16% in the 80s. That's when people stopped. Right? The flip side of that is they really, really damaged the economy. I mean, this caused a big recession. The housing market was a mess. People were losing equity, kind of hand over fist. This was a big deal. They had to keep it this way for a while though, because they weren't regulating it well enough ahead of time, right? So that's kind of Gary's illustration of what's happening, right? So the Fed says, hey, we've got all of these rate hikes coming, right? In April, he was saying it's not slowing down. We're gonna get to 7%. Now that we're already at 6, it's easy to see us getting to 8, right? People are still buying houses. They're still spending. So long as people keep borrowing that money, the rate's gonna go higher and higher. Now, there's a lot of other things that feed into that, right? A lot of the political stuff, all of those pieces, but that's the general idea of why they're raising the rates. They need to slow it back down. How perfect
inflation.
So I don't know, he said in April, we'll see 7. I think it's moving faster than he thought it was going to, so we might see 8 this year. We might hit 6.5, and it slows it down enough in other places in the country, like Denver's gonna be hard to stop, right? But there are other places in the country where it is the market of an opportune moment, and it is not a market of necessity like it is. We are growing, we don't have enough homes for the people who are moving here. We're still going to continue to have a strong market. But there are other places like BFE, Alabama, that nobody wants to move to, but because everybody's buying real estate, their market's going up. In those kinds of markets that don't actually have population growth, they're gonna see that start to go down. They're gonna see that correct. It may nationally correct enough to put a stop to this earlier than that. But if it doesn't, right? If we get to October and people are still, aren't swayed by a 7% mortgage.
What's the percentage of investors still paying cash? Is that, because that's probably what's keeping it, yeah. Keeping it.
In markets where the appreciation is crazy now, like
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
We're still
Mhm.
getting that, because they don't worry about the rate.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Doesn't affect them.
But they also don't have to compete with a bunch of buyers, since the mortgage people have already fallen out, some of them.
Yeah.
And so they're not looking at, they don't have to go in so hot and heavy. So we may see the prices kind of settle out a little bit. I don't know how much. I mean, it's still, I was doing math for somebody who was thinking about a new build. And they're first time home buyers, FHA. And I was like, here's the reality. It's been, double digits, upper double digits. What if it's only 10? You're still in a year, you have $60,000 of equity in a year.
Right.
If it's fairly moderate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's still really good and not like BFE Alabama. That's, maybe they're at the norm, or low norm, but 4%.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, and they're gonna be correcting back to that.
but those, yeah, and that cash buyer, he's not running after that.
Right.
Because he's looking at equity, not cash flow. Everything cash flows when you pay cash
Right.
for it. It's that cash on cash return that you're looking for, which is the equity piece. But the investor that's borrowing money is going to BFE Alabama, because those prices have kind of had to come down. So it's an opportunity if you've been hanging on to your cash and looking at, we keep looking at Arkansas. We'd love to live on the water, and have something that we can do down there. It's just interesting, and I was gonna ask you about something though, and I don't know where this was, this way to the left, that chart. And I can't even see that far, but that line is 7 something,
7.81.
okay, up to 16, right? 9% swing. Well, what our low down here was 2.
Yeah.
So, what I'm saying is we're not going to 16 because that would be 14%.
Right.
We might be
Yeah.
looking at, I'm just thinking about the same, like we
Well,
think about elevation.
And so
Yeah.
these are 2 different trend lines, right? If we go all the way back historically, 7.81% is the historical average interest rate,
Oh,
okay? But if you only go back to 1990, right, which is where kind of this new trend line started, 5.97 is our historical interest rates post 1990. If you take everything that happened in the 80s out of that.
okay.
So if that's, that's where we're at, 30 years of data at this point,
Yeah.
right? So over the last 30 some odd years, 5.97 is the historical average interest rate. So we're right there. We're average.
Yeah.
So interesting stuff. You can find
It
these I'll move this into the,
Resources?
yeah, into the thing where these go.
36.
Yeah, the in-class materials, there we go. So y'all can see those, but you also have them there in KW Connect. You can find them in there too. They're still on like the main page. All right. Oh, this is the one. Okay. Numbers are interesting. I mean, we could spend an hour talking about the numbers every single day. They're gonna have a story to tell, right? 3 hours of lead gen. Who got some lead gen in yesterday? I know, Gammy, you got some lead gen. You're in the office all day working. Scott, I know you got some.
Yep, I got some in. I got some in today as well.
Awesome,
Scott doesn't want to be here with us today.
awesome, awesome.
I do. I just couldn't make it today, unfortunately.
It was his birthday yesterday. He partied too
Oh,
hard.
that's what it was.
Too many cups of tea. Yeah. Here we go. So morning lead gen, tomorrow, no morning lead gen. We're doing, red day. Red day. And then we got follow-up Friday. So we'll be, digging into some follow-up stuff on Friday. Next week, we launch with, agent to agent referral lead generation. We are going to also be planning open house next week and doing some, lead gen around that. 4 goals of your lead generation: get an appointment, get a referral, build that relationship, and increase your database. We're gonna be talking a bit about database today, how many people you need to have in your database, and stay on track to truly hit your goals by tracking your numbers, your lead generation numbers. Use a tracker, doesn't have to be this one, but something to track your progress every day. Join us on the Snap Habit. Still haven't figured that bad boy out, but it sure is fun.
He is what he is.
Yeah, it's doing well enough. It's a good enough kind of system for us to all have eyes on that accountability for our group. And then do something every single day that helps increase your skill level and effectiveness. Script practice, role play. I know with Rockstar Agent, when that launches, they, and if you're already a part of it, there are some dedicated script practice and conversations that you can have on the Zoom there. We've got the regional script practice and role play at 8:30 every morning. You can hop on that, use script and role play with somebody in the office locally. You can find a partner across the country who's working on the same thing you are. Here's a fun thing about script practice and role play. We think that this is just memorizing a script we use on the telephone. That's like my default. When somebody tells me to script practice or role play with somebody, I'm like, oh, shoot, what am I gonna say on it? Like, that's where my head initially goes. But remember, we use scripts for everything in life, right? But particularly in real estate. So that script practice, you could be rehearsing your buyer or seller presentation. Just like it was something you were gonna get on stage for, you know, or pretend you're in a soap opera and you have to know your lines, right? It's script practice and role play just like that. You can real play as well instead of role play. That's one of my favorite things to do if you're feeling a little bit stagnant in your business. Grab your buyer presentation or your listing presentation, get a hold of somebody you know, like, and trust, treat them to lunch, and real play your presentation. If you're brand new, it goes a little something like, hey, you know, I'm new in real estate. I'm working with some buyers soon. I really need some experience helping buyers through this conversation. I'd love to buy you lunch and just, if I could, just kind of practice what that looks like on somebody who doesn't, you know, who isn't in real estate and doesn't know what to expect. Same thing with the listing presentation. I'd love to practice what it looks like to help somebody list their house. And I know you're not looking to sell. But I'll do everything. I'll do the pricing piece, I'll come do the presentation, and we'll do all of that. I'll bring coffee, or we can go to dinner, or I'll do something, you know, to benefit you. All I ask is that you give me some feedback in return, right? I love this because you start those wheels turning. First of all, these are people who already know you, like you, and trust you. They're gonna give you some feedback. Hey, don't say that, or that felt really awful, or I love your presentation. They're probably gonna say nice things, right? They're gonna lead with all of the nice things, and if they really, really know you well, they may actually give you some constructive criticism. But the nice things are good too. We need confidence in our world. Listen to them. They're not lying to you. You probably did a darn good job. But you start that ball rolling. They might not have been thinking about buying or selling, but then you just told them that their house is worth $650,000 and they bought it for $375 5 years ago. And oh my goodness, we sure could use another bedroom. I didn't realize we could get that for our house, right? I mean, you start those conversations. It's one of my favorite things to do, and that's real play, right? Whenever I'm in like a group calling environment, right? When you're in a group calling environment, that is an action-focused training, by the way. You may be given a script, something like, hey, I'm in a contest today. And whoever gets the most referrals for the real estate business wins. Can you help me, right? Oh my goodness, those are great, and there's tons of energy. You're gonna get a whole bunch of referrals, but whenever you're in one of those group environments or you're making phone calls and you just don't, you just don't really feel up to starting. And my mom and my sister were like my go-tos. I could call them with whatever I thought cheesy script I was working, right? I could call them with that and have that conversation. They didn't really know that they were that person for me, right? And oftentimes it works and I would get referrals. But what always happened was I felt a lot better to make the second call, which was the real call, right? The call I wanted to make, I needed to make. That's a real play. It's like role playing, but I'm doing it for real on a real life person. So real play, a really, really valuable thing that you can do too. Have a coaching or accountability session, or read a book. We've got some good ones right now this week. It's The Go Giver. Good one to listen to. Next week, it's Exactly What to Say. Gabby and I pulled that out yesterday. Used it for some wordsmithing. It's a really good one. Quick read. So that's cool. That's what we got. Oh, there we go. And then follow up and close the sale in week 4. That's a good one. I'm going to listen to that one again this week because I need something to listen to. And hopefully I get my paper copy really soon. Follow up and close the sale. That's a really good one. Homework today, prepare for lead gen tomorrow or prepare for lead gen Friday. If you're not lead genning tomorrow because of red day, make sure and that you get all of that preparation done so that you can show up Friday morning and just take action. I need to move all of this food out of my way. I'm going to be snacking all day. You guys do. I want some afternoon sugar.
Nope, I even gave away my cookie.
Did you?
Well.
It helped candy. I just put it on your desk.
Yeah, I just put it on one stick.
It's made with that organic sweet substance. They call it sugar.
Oh.
It's really good for you. I love it. All right. Touch plans. So we are going to today overview the 3 basic types of touch plans, which you will have heard about in Millionaire Real Estate Agent or in the Shift book that we read last week. But really what it boils down to is systematic marketing. We're going to identify when you would use these strategies, how they all work together. And we're even going to start building some of the cornerstones of those touch points today, talking about what's in them and all of those pieces. A touch plan can be one of the more challenging pieces in your real estate business because it requires consistency, right? It
Oh, where's
requires a consistent execution of the plan that you make. And we all know what happens is sometimes we get more business than we have hours in the day. And the consistent execution of those plans kind of goes to the wayside. So we're going to talk about systematizing this in such a way that it's going to run even when you're not running it too. All of this starts with, I don't know why the door's just one from the back door. All of this starts with the 4 laws of your database. The first law is to build a database. You should have a system, a tool that is your CRM, that's where your database lives. That's where you're doing anything that relates to your database. It should be one place. A lot of people operate off of Excel spreadsheets, and there are some people in my phone, and then I've got some people that I mail to, and they're over here. You need to have everybody in one place to be able to have, to keep an eye on everything that's happening as far as your systematic marketing goes. Feed it every day. Lead generation is a lot of what we do in lead generation is about adding people to our database, right? That is one of our goals is being able to put someone into our database. So we want to be feeding it every day. If it is not growing, it is shrinking, right? Every day that you don't put someone in, someone is coming out of your database and going into somebody else's. We're then going to communicate with it in a systematic way and service all the leads that come our way. And that's really what we're going to dive into today is communicating with it in a systematic way. So the 3 foundational types of systematic marketing plans are the 8x8, the 33 touch, which for our purposes can be 36 or more touch, and the 12 direct. So let's talk just a little bit about what all of these are. The 8x8, this means 8 touches over 8 weeks. That's what it stands for. It could mean 8 touches in 8 days if you are in a situation where you need to aggressively build mind share with somebody. Okay, 8 touches though over 8 weeks is really what you're going to plan with that 8x8. Your 36 touch is what happens after somebody goes on your 8x8, right? So this intensive kind of brand recognition marketing program that you're going to put them on, that's your 8x8. And then your long-term communication plan, right? Your long-term marketing plan, that's your 36 touch. At least 3 times a month, you enter their space in some way, shape, or form, right? It's with some sort of marketing or communication. And then the 12 direct. The 12 direct is strictly marketing. It creates brand recognition. And you could actually make this list with 12 direct on the top, right? Because if I started with a 12 direct, somebody may raise their hand from that 12 direct, or I may meet them from that, which gives me the opportunity to intensely get to know them. That's the 8x8, and then long-term put them on a 36 touch. 12 direct essentially means 12 touches in 12 months. So this could be 12 direct mail pieces, like a postcard. You're getting a postcard a month from me, right? Or an email a month from me or something like that. The purpose of that is to help build brand recognition, and it is marketing that supports prospecting efforts. Okay? It's marketing that supports prospecting efforts is your 12 direct. Let's do some math. We've got new math. Not the math that's on your screen right your book, but this math. And just tell you how we get to these numbers too, because I think that's really important when you're planning for what's happening in your database. So in your material on the screen, it says that there's a 12-to-2 ratio for people that you've met, that you are systematically marketing to at least 33 times a year. That's a really important factor in this. That you would get 2 transactions for every 12 people in your database. Okay, this is kind of old math. It is not that anymore, right? The new math says that for every 10 people in your database, you will get either 1 transaction for 1 referral. So it's 1 out of every 10 now, instead of 2 out of every 12. It's 1 out of every 10 that will have a real estate need. You may not capture all of that business though, right? The better your communication strategy is, the higher the percentage of that business you're gonna collect. So here's how it works. If I have 100 people in my database, I could do the easy math, right? And just say, oh, if it's 1 out of every 10% of those people are gonna have a real estate need or referral for me this year. But here's the real math behind it. Do you know 6 out of every 10 people ever become homeowners? 60% of Americans will become homeowners. The rest will just not ever become a homeowner. So if you had 100 people in your database, only 60 of them will ever be homeowners. Isn't that interesting? But the other 40 know all of these guys. You know all of them, right? So they're still great referral people. They're still going to be good to keep in your database, and they help to bolster that back up to 10%. But so here's what happens. So of that, National Association of Realtors says that on average, people are moving once every 10 years. Okay, so if there are 60 people in my database that will ever become homeowners, divided by 10 years, each one of them will make a move every 10 years. That means that of these 100 people, 6 of them are going to make a move this year. That makes sense? Are going to make a move in the real estate space this year. Right? Of those six people, I'm going to get a referral from half of them. And from these renters, I'm going to get a referral as well. So that's where I get to that 10% of my database is going to have a real estate transaction this year. And depending on how well I am communicating with them, this will look familiar by now. I do a deal here, I do a deal here, and then as I'm climbing back up, somebody's talking to me about real estate. Depending on how well I do maintaining my brand presence here and being that person determines the percentage of those 10 people I will get. If I am nailing this, I might get 100% of them, right? I have 10 potential deals in this 100. Chances are really good that even if I am nailing this, I'm gonna get 50% of the deals in the database. Chances are even better that if I'm not nailing this, I'm gonna get 10 to 25% of those deals in the database. Just the few people that I accidentally do this well with, instead of with everybody, right? So if I have an opportunity to go 50% or better of all of the real estate that's gonna happen inside of my sphere, I have to nail this on a really high level. I have to stand out from all of the other brand recognition, all of the other brands that they might recognize, right? we accidentally did this exercise. I think it was yesterday. We were talking about painters. We're talking about painters and brand recognition. Yep. What's the thing people don't use a lot of these days. Anybody in the room smoke cigarettes? No? Okay. Could you name 2 brands of cigarettes?
No, Marlboro, and
Kent.
Yeah.
And my parents smoked for years.
It's weird. And we, right? Because we see it. We go into the gas station,
Yeah.
we see it. We're inundated with this subliminal marketing for something we don't even use, for a product we're not even interested in, right? That's our job, to become magical subliminal marketers to our people. If you've ever been, if you've not ever, but if you've recently been to Bold in the last few years, you will have heard a story about this from one of the Bold coaches. His name is Steve Schluter. And Steve's been teaching this program for never ending referrals for forever. And it's all about staying top of mind with people. And he's a Bold coach. So he travels around the country teaching realtors how to do better business. And one of those realtors put him inside her database, right? And had been marketing to him, forever since then. One day she called him. They had a great conversation. He got off the phone and he was like, I really like her. I have no idea who she is, but I really like her, right? I'm paraphrasing. He tells us much, much better. So of course he goes back to his computer and he realizes why he liked her so much. She was familiar. Why was she familiar? Because she had been emailing him every single week or month or however many for all of the years since she had been in class. We had a great conversation. She had created this subliminal brand awareness with him, right? And that's our job. And that's what we're going to do today is we are going to build this so that you can get 50% or better of the available transactions in your database. So if you want to do the quick math, you can, because it does boil down to 10% of your database, right? Will either have a real estate need this year or know somebody who does. How many people are in your database?
And the ugly side of that, they still have a need, whether you're keeping track of them or not.
Yes.
Whether you're staying top of mind or not, they still have that need. So they're not just in your database, they're in somebody
They're in
else's
somebody
too.
else's. And
Who's
that
doing
person
this.
is maybe doing this, right? Inconsistent over time, or that person is doing this.
Yeah.
And they're gonna win that business right out from under you,
Uh-huh.
right?
That's the part I don't like.
Uh-huh.
Because
So-
that's the reality of it.
So what's that number? How many people are in your database? You can look at your phone and see how many contacts are in your phone. You are 100% not doing that with everyone in your phone. So look at your database and the people that you at least intend to be doing this with. What's that number? 10% of them are going to raise their hand this year. Are they calling you?
Making sure it's doable. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't put thousands in your database.
Until you can do it.
Because you can't,
Right.
and if you can't do it.
Yep, that's all that we just did. So an overview of systematic marketing plans, right? All 3 have one common thing: overkill over time. Why? Because no matter how much frequent and systematic lead generation is emphasized, most real estate agents still tend to underdo it. We tend to under communicate, under market ourselves, right? Your goal is to out touch the other agents, right? Get yourself to stand out. So, you have a little exercise in here about building your target audience. That would be a really, really great homework page. as you are thinking about maybe creating a farm area or breaking into a new subset. For most of what we're gonna be talking about today is going to be METs. Okay, we're gonna be talking about people we already know, how we get into solid relationship with them and how we stay in relationship with them. So there is, however, a great exercise in there, so you can take a look at it. So what are they all? The 8x8, it's intensive, right? It is marketing and prospecting. I am going to be doing both. I'm going to be reaching out to you really aggressively through that 8x8 and supporting that with some marketing to solidify our relationship. Okay, this is for people that I've just met. They need to, in a short period of time, put me on the list of real estate agents that they know, like, and trust. Right? That's the job. They're going to then transition into a 36 touch. This is a consistent, repetitive plan for people I already know. And it gives us an edge over most agents because it creates some brand awareness. And that 12 direct is for haven't met, and it is all about long-term, consistent, well-branded marketing pieces, email or mail, and it should be supported by a prospecting plan, right? Just 12 postcards in the mail every year to the same neighborhood isn't going to do very much unless you're also maybe door knocking, or you're also hosting a food truck, or you're also doing something else in the neighborhood. When we design our touch plans, we want to remember a couple of things. The first is we want to include an offer response in every piece. An offer response is also known as a call to action, or a offer, right? We're going to make an offer for immediate response. So include an offer response in every piece. Every single marketing piece we have should have a, click here for more information, sign up here, call me for this, schedule your annual home evaluation. Let me know if you want, right? It should have something that gets people to come back to you. Come from contribution. This is one of the biggest pieces. Does that touch add value to them? Right? Am I doing something that helps support them? Right? Am I sending out information that's going to be valuable, pertinent to them? Or is it all about me? Right? An email that says, I just sold 6 houses. Woohoo, look at me. Isn't anywhere near as powerful as an email that says, here's the 6 houses in your neighborhood that sold. If you need an expert, call me. Right? Because that's information they can actually use. That's coming from contribution. How can you help or be of service to others? And how can more touches or marketing pieces benefit them? Emphasize benefits, not features. This is something in all of your marketing messages that you want to take a look at, right? What is the problem that it solves? Right? Have a consistent look and feel. I love designs for this in Command because there are 5 or 6 different themes, and then every single design, postcards, listing presentations, right? Flyers, social media pieces, all have that consistent theme. Just pick one that you like and go for it. You can build your own design library in designs by doing that. But even if that's not it, even if you're going to do something else, then and create like custom marketing or anything like that, just make sure everything kind of has a consistent look and feel. And it's an attractive professional look. If you're anything like me, then you're going to want to have people proofread things because I can't see my own errors. And if it doesn't have spell check, then it's spelled wrong. I promise you, I spelled it wrong. I definitely would never be in a spelling bee, right? have a unique eye-catching hook. That can be a great way to get people's attention. Not everything you do has to have a unique eye-catching hook to it, right? But every now and again, if you want to grab something that maybe just evokes a little chuckle or brings a little personality into your marketing pieces, that's a great idea. Personalize your ads and events. Make sure it's got you on it, your photo, your logo, your own touch to all of your marketing pieces. People are doing business with you when they do real estate, not Keller Williams, right? You know, we established the other day, some people don't even know what KW is, right? Which can be a great conversation starter, but they're going to do business with you, the local real estate expert of choice. So make sure that all of your marketing material has you on it, and people know it's you, it's coming from you, and it's all about you. Look for longevity. Stuff that's got a good shelf life. That's gonna get, you know, stuck on the refrigerator magnet for a while is great. That's why old school realtors would send things like notepads and all of that stuff. I still have a stack of real estate agent notepads, right? I'm sure none of them are in business anymore, right? But they had a really long shelf life, so that's why they would send them out. If you're doing print marketing, right, and you might want something that's gonna get, you know, go on a magnet on the fridge, or is a refrigerator magnet, right? Avalanche schedule, football schedule, those kind of things, and they stick around for a really long time. You know, boomerang marketing would be something that doesn't. It's great, it's got a short shelf life. Usually those postcards expire in just a couple of months, right? So they're not gonna stick around forever. But they're still they're a great touch in there, and they have an okay shelf life, right? For my systematized marketing campaigns, my 36 touch, I'm not gonna include things like open house flyers and listing postcards and things like that. I may send it to them on top of these touches, but I'm not gonna budget that into my touches because they have no shelf life. Those are things people glance at and throw away, right? So I want things that are gonna stick around for a little bit longer. Use one focused message per piece. If I want to tell you about 3 different things, right? Here's what home values are doing, here's what interest rates are doing, and oh, by the way, I'm gonna be in your neighborhood with pies next week, what flavor do you want? Those are 3 different communications, not all on the same one. Keep it shorter and smaller. Use testimonials as often as you can. It's a phenomenal thing to add to all or any of your marketing pieces. Print testimonials, video testimonials, you can transpose them and transcribe video testimonials so that they become print. You can, you know, just like they do lyric videos, you can do video testimonials of something somebody typed, right? And you can create a video of it. There are so many different ways that you can use testimonials in your business. They're great inside of your touch programs. And then brand on both sides of any print marketing. Make sure that they can see your logo when they throw it away. That's the big thing, right? They need to be able to see who it is without turning it over to see who it is. So those are just kind of some general rules. I thought today we would put together a kind of a sample skeleton 8x8. And a skeleton 36-ish touch. We might end up building more touches than that into it. We'll brainstorm some ideas. What kind of things could be good in an 8x8? What kind of things would we maybe want to avoid or might be a little trickier to do? Same thing with the 36 touch. And then we're going to really look at how events can play a big role in your communication campaigns. So if you want to play along at home, you absolutely can. Grab a sheet of paper or a note-taking device of some sort. And we're going to just old school pen and paper, start talking a little bit about an 8x8. Cut that black market handy. It was really, really a good one. All right, so 8x8. What kinds of things might we include in an 8x8? And if you are at home, feel free to just turn off the mutes and contribute your ideas openly, just like you would if you were in the room here.
Random, we're just.
Sure, yeah, we're just
we'll-
idea
we'll just,
farming.
What'd you say?
What kind of things would
Idea
could go in
what?
our 8x8? Idea farming?
That's not what I heard.
Oh,
It would have been funny that way too, but it would just been something I would say, not something Anna would say. I was thinking market,
Yeah.
some sort of market snap or.
market update.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Update, yeah.
Like a, yeah, like a neighborhood update or something like that. Okay. How would I deliver that?
I'm thinking postcard.
Market update postcard? Okay. How else could I deliver that?
Email.
Yeah. it could
That's
be
a
email.
neighborhood thing from command.
Mhm. I could probably pop by with a market update if I wanted to, if I needed something in person. I don't think I would call somebody with a market update or text them with a market update.
Could text a link, I
You can
suppose.
text the link, yeah. Text the link to whatever you were emailing them.
Mhm.
What else could go in our 8x8? I just met you, I want to solidify our relationship.
Handwritten note.
Mhm.
Handwritten note. If I just met you, I can, like at an open house, I've done a video and texted it to them.
A video message. Personal visits, phone calls, items of value, and handwritten notes. I like that, a pop by or an item of value. I like you, you like me. Item of value.
About popping by for an invite to an event.
Could be an event invitation.
Got a seasonal postcard like for local farmers markets in the area. I think, those kind of different
Mhm.
themes.
So we're gonna say a postcard. Like a long shelf life.
Hey Anna.
Yeah.
Is this strictly for when you very first meet somebody?
This is predominantly for when you very first meet somebody, or if you need to, and I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so y'all can see the screen a little bit, and I'm gonna stop sharing so that it's bigger for you too. So particularly, yeah, when you first meet somebody, or if you're like relaunching that relationship, you could use an 8x8 too. So let's say, I don't know, life showed up and you haven't been really communicating with your people very much. You could just do an 8x8 for everybody to get back into communication, or something like that, if you lost touch with a group of people and you wanted to rekindle that relationship, you can use that 8x8. But yeah, if I just meet somebody at like, I don't know, anywhere, and any way you get into my database, I would start with an 8x8. If I meet you at the grocery store and we exchange contact information, if I meet you at a social gathering, if I meet you at a real estate related event, like an open house, or I hold a buyer seminar or something like that. Any of those things. When you go into my database, you're gonna go on to an 8x8. What else? You know, it's on the list over there, but we didn't actually say we would call them. A phone call. And a text if it's appropriate. So the next question is like, when do you do what? The easy answer is however the heck you want to. They don't know how it's supposed to go, right? They don't know that they met you at an open house and this week you were planning on calling them and next week you're gonna send them a postcard and the week after that, they're going to, you know, you're going to be popping by their home or business with a real estate related item of value. You have no idea that those things are gonna happen. So you can put these in whatever order you want. And you can kind of tweak it a little bit if you need to, right? Like if one of your 8x8 things is an event invite, then maybe that kind of rolls through or layers on top of what you're doing because you might not have an event to invite them to immediately, right? So you gotta look at some of those pieces, but let's look at that. I just met them. What's the first thing I might do after I met them? And let's go ahead and use open house. I met them at an open house. Go ahead and use that. What's the first thing I might do?
I like the video message.
Video message?
And I schedule it for, I do it right then while I'm in the open house. And then I schedule it for a couple hours later.
The same day. That too. I'm gonna send them a video message. All right, how do I follow that up?
Can we make some assumptions about having an address, having a full contact? Phone number, email, address, or just phone number and email?
Maybe just phone number and email, because that's most commonly what you're gonna get. That address is like,
We earn that.
you earn that, right? So if you're gonna do any like pop by style touches, you might try and plan those to be later in your 8x8, because then you have the opportunity to earn the right to ask for that address, right? Somewhere around step 6, could be a phone call. So that step 7 is a pop by. And step 8 is like an event invite. Or vice versa. Event invite, pop by, whatever. And in that phone call, I say something to the, you know, along the lines of, hey, I got something I was just gonna drop off for you really quick. Where's your address? What's your address so that I can drop that off? You've earned the right in the relationship at that point to probably ask, right? And if not, you're gonna pivot and that's not gonna be a pop by anymore. Maybe it's a reverse pop by. Hey, I have something for you. Can you come by the office and pick it up? So video message.
So you could do a market snapshot for the area for that where the open house was, since you don't know have their address.
Okay, yeah. The market update. And maybe that's gonna go out email. If I have it early on, it's gonna be a handwritten note. If not, then probably come later, right? Maybe after the event, it's a thank you with a note.
Thanks for coming, or sorry we missed you. You know what?
And I mean, you could rinse and repeat in this. I could follow up with that market update email a few days later with a phone call. Hey, did you get the market update I sent you? And a few days later, that's a text. Or video again. With maybe another market update.
A video could also be, there's another open house in the area. Did you see it? Just wanted to make sure. Another just about you.
Could you do the handwritten note like after? Or the handwritten note somewhere? You don't have that down.
Yeah, handwritten note could go anytime in there.
As long as you have their address. So
I
it would
have their
have to be
address.
down towards the bottom.
Yeah, yeah, and I threw it, Charlotte, it's hard to see. It's way down here,
Okay.
yeah. But as soon as you get their address, that's the first thing I would do. If you don't have their address and you know where they work, send it to work. I think a handwritten note would be completely appropriate to like send to somebody's work. And generally speaking, you can send mail to a business with very little information, right? If you know they work at Lockheed Martin. It's good enough, right? Send it care of them to Lockheed and let them take care of the rest. It'll probably find them eventually, If they, run an Olive Garden, just send it to the Olive Garden, like.
Stalk them on LinkedIn and find out where they work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What's fun about this though, is just mix it up, right? That would be probably the two best pieces of advice I would give you. The first is mix it up, so it's not like I have to call them every week. They don't want you to call them every week, and that's not gonna do it, right? You've gotta hit every medium that you can, right? Call, text, video, voicemail. If you can get them on the socials, connect with them on social. You can direct message them through there. You can, you can interact with them in their social media, right? Those can definitely be touches too. Is this overkill? Yes and no, right? Is it going to feel like overkill to them? Nope. Is this more than you need to cement that relationship with them? They are, and at what level you're executing this, right? But this is how they start thinking about you in real estate. This is especially important, Gabby, for anyone in your sphere who knows you before real estate, right? Or Kathy, anyone in your sphere who knows you before real estate, right? When you've been in long enough, I'm saying that. They have to get to know you with your realtor hat on, right? And it's something like this that can help turn that tide. And it doesn't feel funky or unnatural, right? This is a completely normal way for a business to communicate with a customer, which is what you are. You are a real estate business, they are a potential customer, right? Completely normal for this to happen. Anybody ever gone into a Sleep Number store and made the mistake of giving them their information?
I shouldn't.
They are good at this, right? I'm sure it is like someone in the corporate office who's like pushing all the buttons, but they will never, ever, ever not let you buy a Sleep Number bed, right? Like you go
Buy or
into their
die.
systems.
Buy or die.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Anna, I've got 500 people in my database and I've never done an 8x8. I should just put them all on 8x8 tomorrow.
Sure. And then you're asleep for a week. Be prepared to execute it fully. If you can create your 8x8 and fully execute it with all 500 people at the same time, yes, go on there tomorrow. If not, strategically roll people into it a little at a time so that you can keep up with the increased communication workload of what you've designed. That's the second piece of advice I would give you. Put together a format of what this is going to look like. Automate as much of it as you can. You use smart plans for that. That's perfect. The smart plan would include a task to do any of the things that you physically have to do And then you're going to, you know, as part of that smart plan, probably put them on a bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. That's going to give them that market update, right, every other week. And then your touch in between those weeks could be something as simple as, hey, did you see the email I sent you last week? And you'll be surprised at what's happening in the market. Or, you know, that house sold, but there's a few others available, right? Okay. Let's dive into this 36 touch. Same thing. Okay. So 8x8 means for 8 weeks, you're getting a touch every single week. And then you're gonna relax a little. And instead of doing 4 touches a month with the folks in your database, you're gonna do 3, right? Or more, maybe. But so you can create your 36 touch really similarly to how we created that 8x8. Only you're gonna wanna do this on an annual rotation, right? So while your 8x8 should be evergreen, your 8x8 should always work, right? I'm not gonna put things in my 8x8 like birthday card. That doesn't go in my 8x8. Your birthday may not be during that 8-week period, right? Or holiday card or something like greeting card, right? I'm not gonna put that in the 8x8 because that's really calendar specific. But in my 36 touch, so long as it happens once every year, I can add that to that context strategy, right? And it's just gonna, every year we're gonna do the same thing with different content, but we've got a similar strategy. So the easy pieces of your 36 touch to put together, I would start with some sort of market update. Because if you do this through command, this is the neighborhood nurture. And you're gonna get 26 of these every year. Every other week, we're gonna bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. That's great. It's gonna get us well over this 36 touch point, which is good because there's a really high likelihood that these types of emails aren't going to stay in their inbox and get open. It's gonna be like that Steve Schluter example. It's just going to be that brand recognition touch. So emails almost don't count. Put as many of those as you want to in here, up to 1 a week. Okay. In fact, if you turn this from a 36 touch into a 66 touch, and you started with 52 emails, and then added 14 other touches, you might be okay. Right? I probably wouldn't send more than an email a week unless it's really specific communication. If I have an event invitation that overlaps with the neighborhood nurture or a market update, totally fine. One of those is gonna go into the inbox, one is gonna go to promotions or social or whatever. But I'm not gonna send 2 market updates in a week. I'm gonna alternate my market updates and my newsletters, right? So that you're getting something every week. So if we are going to stick with that strategy, I could do that market update and then a newsletter every month. And then 12 e-greetings, right? This is that happy Christmas, Merry New Year touch thing, right? This is the set your clocks back email. This is the happy Mother's Day email. These are the kind of more social touches if I had one of those a month, right? It's just, hey, I'm a human, doing human things. I think you're a human too. They email you about being a human being, right? So that type of a touch. Now you've got an email every week going on in the background. You don't have to do anything. This is where a lot of agents stop. Let's be real, a lot of agents don't even get this going, right? But then the ones who do, don't always take it a step further. This is like the bare minimum. And you should do this. Everyone should do this. These are easy things to do. These emails aren't going to offend anybody. They're not going to clog up your email. It's not like, it's not like that retailer whose list you just got on and now they're emailing you 5 times a day because they've got some sort of, flash sale or something. Very few people are going to be offended by this or unsubscribe or anything like that. And then you may layer occasional personalized emails, right? So maybe once a month or every other month, right, that's 6 to 12. Event. Invites. So that's a lot of event invites. 2 to 6 event invites. An event invite, I'm gonna put as just like one thing on here, but there's multiple touches that go along with the event invite. They'll get an email, they'll get a text message, they'll get a phone call, they might get a social media invite, they may even get an old-fashioned mail invite to an event, and I'm gonna do 2 to 6 of those events a year. I can leverage the market center events for that, right? Santa's coming, and then maybe it's a little parties, they're evenly spaced throughout the year. I could do every market center event on there and do an event every other month. If I start doing too many events, then they're probably not special anymore, right? I could be doing an event every month, but only invite some people to some events. But I probably don't want to overload on that, right? So if I did 2 to 6 event invites, I might do 1 to 4 phone calls. And 1 to 4 texts or social media messages. Why 1 to 4? There are definitely some people in your database who are not going to want 4 phone calls either. Right? Or you might not get through all of the people every time you go to call people, right? In a perfect world, everybody's gonna get 4 phone calls every year. They're gonna go on that quarterly call plan, and every time that task pops up, you're gonna call them that day. Chances are really good, even if you're executing at a super high level, you're gonna hit that half the time. Right? So you're gonna hear from you twice a year. So if they heard from you twice a year, some of those calls might be about events. Right? Perfectly okay reason to call somebody. Text messages are the same thing. I think you can out of the blue text people pretty easily, right? There's some great real estate things you can throw out there. Might get some mail, some direct mail. This is your postcard. This is higher end direct mail, right? This could be, these are going to be long shelf life pieces, right? So, maybe they get 6 mailers. Maybe one's a calendar, maybe one's a postcard, maybe it's a couple each. Maybe you want to do something really special, right? Maybe at some point through the year, every person in your database is going to get at least 1 pop-by, right? Maybe they're not. Depends on what your pop-bys are. But I think about things that could be mailers. They're generally cheap. And when you have them mailed, you can also get a set of them not mailed, and you can use those as pop-bys. Right? if everyone in your database is getting a mailed Broncos schedule, we're gonna come here, can you get 25 of them not mailed and actually pop by 25 people within the stack? And just kind of do that for each of your touches, right? So some people are gonna get more than that. They might get 4 pop bys a year because they're like my A+ people. And any chance I have to get face to face with you, I'm gonna, right? So let's say 1 to 4 pop bys. You see how long this adds up over the course of a year? And this becomes our job, right? Most of this is running on autopilot. We show up every day, invite people to events, make our phone calls, and deliver this pop by solutions, right? What kind of things are on your 36 touch point that we haven't covered here?
Home anniversary,
Special occasion cards. How do you do that? Home anniversaries, is it like an email, is it a gift card, what do you do for that?
AM card.
AM cards?
Yeah.
Okay, do you do that for like birthdays too?
Yes.
Yeah.
If they're on the A list.
Okay. Special occasions. How many special occasions are you sending cards out for? Ruth?
Mostly birthday and home anniversary, and then from time to time, I'll see on Facebook that a dog died or something like that. Or, something more significant than
Okay. So your
pets, but, I do those one-offs, so.
Yeah.
At least 2, typically 2, sometimes more. Graduation, kid graduated, something. Yeah, unless the home anniversary, if they bought or sold in the time that I've been in real estate, they don't get a home anniversary. But they'll stay on there.
If they bought and sold with somebody.
Because it feels,
That's weird.
yeah,
Happy home anniversary. Well, you were moonlighting on me.
yeah. But I'll keep it in there because that realtor may not stay in business,
Yeah.
you don't know, and that's an opportunity for me. I missed my opportunity, that's my fault. That's how I gotta look at it.
Yeah.
So I have an opportunity then to win that business next time because they're gonna move in 5 to 7 years.
Yeah. I love that. Other great special occasion pieces, particularly for past clients, is tax stuff,
What stuff?
tax.
Tax.
So I might send them like settlement statements.
I've done that before, but I,
In January. You know what? I was always hit or miss with it.
Yeah.
And then this year, I had to go digging through all of my documents to get what I needed to send out to for my taxes.
somebody,
Because it wasn't handy.
yes, somebody asked me for theirs. Did I have it handy? I was
Yeah.
like, yes, and of course I do because it's all.
Yeah.
And then it made me think, oh, I should do that again.
Yeah, because you know what I do? Probably a lot of people do. Every January, I have that front file folder and everything that I get that's tax related just goes into that file folder. And then I just give that file folder when I get my taxes done, right? And it's got all of it, W-2s and 1099s and the mortgage statements, all of this stuff that just says tax related document enclosed, it just goes right in there. So that would go right in there too, in a nice branded envelope. Put your stuff on the outside of the envelope, because they might not open it, they might just hand it to the tax guy.
Well, and even if you do it as an email from your KW email and schedule it for January 3rd, 4th, whatever,
Brilliant.
in 2023. For
Brilliant.
everything that you've closed this year, you could go ahead and do that.
Mhm.
Pull it out, save it in a file, schedule it,
Schedule
it's
it.
check, 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 done.
Right. That's really right. What else can go on that list? Deed. Other things, especially that we just need to get this one. It's clean.
Yeah, I was about to say school.
Kindergarten, I can go find it. You have to go to the post office and make a key return. Right, so send that up. Send that up every year. You probably lost it last year, just in case.
Yeah.
You might need it again this year, right? Put a picture of the mailbox on it. Remember, you'll need this. If you need to have your mailbox key or something like that, right? I mean, any of those things could be a touch.
Well, any of those holidays that are off holiday, where like St. Patrick's Day or not Christmas, you know, something, I mean, a lot of people are sending out Thanksgiving cards now because it's
Holiday.
holiday-ish. It's the beginning of the holiday.
Yeah.
But you could do something like that.
What about?
Hey Gwen, does Boomerang count as a mailer? Is that a mailer?
Yeah, we do Boomerang on a list, some a
Yeah.
list, only like 50 of them.
Yeah.
And I keep that pretty lean. These are people, I have expectations of the people that are on there.
Yeah.
Because it's not cheap.
Property taxes. So, did you know you can contest your property tax valuation? And if you do that, your real estate agent can help you provide the comps you need to get to the county to do that. And that homes get reassessed every other year for increases, right? So that could be a touch. Did your house get reassessed this year? How do you feel about the valuation? Here's the instructions on how to contest it. I can help support you with comps. Reach out to me if you want to contest your property tax valuation. Great touch. And that is a smart plan that runs annually and just goes out every spring with the same freaking instructions because they don't change how you do it. Right?
So speaking of smart plans and it being systemized, is you should know that you could build a smart plan called 36 Touch. Date it. That way if you change it, you should know. Also, you can't change a smart plan that people are on. So maybe date it, 2022 Smart 36 Touch. And then it goes 36, you do an email in the smart plan and then you link to a smart plan. And then you do some other things, task, birthday, whatever it is, and link to another smart plan. So it's all in there. It doesn't, you don't have to have 5 smart plans running at the same time. That makes sense. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
But I think that I'm learning because smart plans don't, they grow and they ebb and flow. Dating your smart plan would be a good idea.
I like that too. And I like, even though these all could be different or on the same smart plan, I like that they're multiple smart plans that link together because then I can change a piece of it without having to change all of it. Yeah.
Can you do that if it's
If it's linked to it, you have to pull everybody off of the one that's linked and then you can change the linked one
and then
and put everybody back on. Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And you can automate a lot of this, right?
it's better than having to do it yourself. Still.
I'm gonna make some coffee. I apologize if it's
Yep.
loud.
No, you're good. So let's spend a couple of minutes talking about what are those big anchors, right? Because a lot of that systematic marketing plan, a lot of that 36 Touch can anchor around those event invites, right? I mean, we talk about that being social media posts, it can become emails, it can be texts, it can be phone calls, it can be pop-bys. Like I can do a lot of relationship building because of an event. Social events tend to be pretty easy for us to check those boxes. Market center events, your own little social events. But let's do some of the same kind of brainstorming. Right, racist. Where is she? And I didn't take a picture of the one over there. Maybe flip chart paper instead.
Tips like the the seasonal, like a springtime time to, the home tips for things that
Yeah,
another.
that's great. It's
like-
time to change your furnace filter,
Yes.
to do blow up
Right.
sprinklers, all of it. I think those are great, like kind of in this category, right? Yeah, those are really,
I got a postcard one time. And it's been my favorite postcard. And it was right before Thanksgiving, like beginning of November, how to set a table. It was like the plate, the charger, the spoon, and how this goes and how that. I was like, oh, hung it on my fridge the whole season. I know, I
you
love
know
it.
what else is good around this time of year?
Recipe cards sometimes.
Turkey thawing and like
Oh,
cook times and stuff.
Yeah.
What are the things that you will find times during the holiday season?
Well, and
Long
that,
shelf life.
right, that's why I like that, because I never would have even thought of it.
You talking
Wasn't
about
it?
events?
Yeah.
Yeah, that and just random long shelf life, postcards or mailings that you might get.
I got conversion for
Do you think
custom
that postcards are worth the expense?
Depends on what they are, I think. Somebody's.
I think if you're layering it appropriately to build your brand presence, yes.
So
I don't think they live alone.
we've struggled with that specific piece, the print and mail piece.
Yeah.
So like, we do all of our events and we circle prospect our events and we social media post our events and we HOA community email our events. Right? And then, so we get all of those things going, but every time I look at mailing, in order to do a quality, glossy, 4-color, double-sided, 9x11 postcard, it's $1.15 to $1.18 per card with bulk postage on 1,200 homes. And I'm like, God, do I really spend $1,500 3 times around
It
this?
is.
I mean, I don't know, sure, I'll get one sale, it pays for itself, right? But I don't know about that.
No, if it's layered with other pieces to build your brand presence, it's definitely, a piece that works. If it's a one-off deal, yesterday we were talking about getting listings from the buyers. And a huge piece of that strategy was print marketing, but it was in a really isolated area. It was about 150 homes, I think.
Yeah.
Which might make more sense.
Well, I used to do that with the beginning when we started doing events in Cobblestone. We would do like a chili cook-off and I'd have Beckham and Zoe go run and flyer the 100 houses that were around us
Right.
to come to. But I would print that crap off of my home
Yeah.
printer.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I was gonna say, is if they're getting it 3-4 different ways
Right.
already, then do a cheaper flyer and you could pay for $1,500, you could pay, a teenager. All they gotta do is put a rubber band on it,
Yeah.
or buy them in the door hanger kind and just.
Right.
Door hanger.
Mhm.
Then we should
Interesting.
know you get it.
Yeah.
Cause right now, mail. Body called not long
Well,
ago.
mail's
and said,
taking
"Hey,"
mail's
Yeah,
taking
for
3
hours
weeks.
too.
That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
she's like, please go pick
Right.
up your check.
Yeah, Bonnie was like, she's like, you need to bring these all in. I'm like, why? She's like, it's taking a month to get them.
Yes, yeah.
It is ridiculous right now. I mean, pretty soon it's just gonna be done, right? And Amazon's gonna be delivering. Why do we
Everything.
need mail?
We
don't
keep
need
saying
mail.
that,
Soapbox about this.
yeah, but it's the government, they're just gonna keep, propping up something that doesn't work.
But we get to have
Soapbox.
some events to help anchor our businesses. It gives us something to talk about without having to talk about ourselves all the time, right? And it allows us to do one of the key pieces, which is to come from contribution, right? And I haven't been keeping the slides up, so we've moved through like all of these things. So much so that this thing is timed down on us. There we go. That's fine. I'm gonna share this. So so that you folks that have can see it too really quick. These are just some things that you might be topics of either an email or a postcard or a touch or whatever, really real estate related things, which is awesome. But you can have real estate related events too. So, you know, most of the time when we talk about events in our 36 touch or 8x8, we're inviting people to events and get it. Client appreciation for social events is what we think about, right? We're going to invite people to see Santa or to the pool party or something like that. But you can hold real estate related events and those can be invitations too. An open
Investor-
house is a great example of a real estate related event. And if you were on my 8x8, I would probably invite you to my open house too. Regardless of how I met you, right? I might even invite my sphere, my database to an open house. Why not? You know, I do them really nice, and cookies, and little bitty bottles of water, and come see me, right? Whatever. But think about other types of real estate related events. People have a lot of curiosity around real estate. So you buyer seminars, seller seminars, investment seminars, anything that people want to maybe do in real estate, you could turn it into an event around it, and you can host that event all sorts of ways. You can secure the training room, right? No cost. You can have as many people in here as you can fit, right? Have a buyer seminar or seller seminar or something. Do it on Zoom, right? You guys have all been on our Zooms enough. You can figure out how to run that. It's really easy. If you ever want a 5-minute tutorial, I'm happy to give you one. It's a really easy method. You can do this through social media streaming, right? You can go live on Facebook and hold an event or do the IGTV or whatever, right? You can do this or any of the other things. I don't know. I don't know any of the other things. But you can host real estate related events that way as an anchor point to drive people to, right? Anything they might do can become an event, right? Partner with Patrick, learn how to buy before you sell, right? Worried about finding the perfect home in this market? Let's find your home before we sell it, right? Get 30 minutes on, on your computer. Patrick hops on, talks about the loan products. You talk a little bit about the real estate market, and you have a lead capture in there because you're going to be giving away something of value. So if you fill out this quick little, Google form or Jot form or a QR code or text me at this number, there's all different ways to capture information, right? You can host these events to give you an anchor to drive people to community events. Red Day is a community event. Now, whether or not anything good happens for our business from Red Day, we're going to do Red Day. We do it to support the community. Your community probably also wants to support the community, and you can come from contribution to give them an opportunity to support the community by hosting this event, right? Use Red Day or any other event. You're doing a coat drive in the winter, you're a food drive, a cereal drive. That's a big deal right now. Oh my goodness, formula, right? I mean, like, these are things that are really hard to get a hold of. Get your people involved. It creates a reason for you to do all of the things we just talked about. And then turn it into an annual event, whatever it is. I mean, you can pop that on your calendar every year. This is when we do this, so that we can talk to people, right? If you map out your whole year and you can't get to 3 or 4 touches per month, put an event on there. You will automatically get that many touches, right? You will up your,
Bless you.
bless you.
Thank you.
You know what? It sounds like you need chocolate this time.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
do
fail. Oh. Okay, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. You know what candy you threw out? And Michael couldn't find it?
Huh.
You know the candy?
Yeah.
Bonnie found a like.
In the hall, yes.
Oh, I love that.
But so you can leverage events for this as well. That is why real estate agents leverage events inside of real estate. I have heard hundreds probably of different ideas of events. And every single one of them, I think, I'm like, oh, that's gold. That's great. People will come to that. Yes, yes, yes. You know what? People will go to anything. And the secret is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how great the event is. It doesn't matter the purpose for it. What matters is the communication around it. It gives you an opportunity to connect with people. So if there's something you like to do, or you want to do, or you think is just easy enough to do that. Doesn't matter. You can
Go
brainstorm all
hike
day
every
long.
Thursday.
Go
and
hike
then-
every
And you
Thursday.
invite people to it.
I love it.
Paddleboard
Mm-hmm.
Thursdays,
Mhm.
Chatfield. Maybe what I do all summer.
Why not? I want a KW hat and you're lead generating, right? That's all it takes. Consistently over time, we're just doing the same things. We're going to meet people, have real estate conversations. And put them on that 8x8 so that they start to identify you when they think of realtor, and then that 36 plus touch to keep them on it all year long. To keep you top of mind all year long. So no class tomorrow. Your homework tonight is to prepare for Friday's lead generation. If you don't already have a plan for Friday, it is follow-up Friday. We're going to be combing through all the lead generation we've done all month long at this point and doing follow-up Friday. And then Friday's class, agent to agent referrals. And a sound machine. I might have one. My husband's a musician and he has all of these like pedal things that do all of this stuff. I might literally, he might have a box that we can program with sound effects when we sit on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you need
That would,
that,
oh man.
but you need that. Sounds like a write-off too.
Game changer. Game
We've been
changer.
talking about that for a long time.
All right,
Do it.
have a good afternoon, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow for Red Day.
Thank you.
With our red shirts on.
We're gonna hop into the,
All right, take care.
Yep, yeah.
this, let me put it back on the screen for you. It's not here, hold on, it's in this one. Here you go, all of the materials can be found here. I will throw the link in the chat for you. So today's was Touch Plans was the name of the material. Grab that. We're gonna call it a day. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you soon. What does it